Tonight on Cronkite News, the Big 12 Media Day kicks off in Las Vegas, the first since adding Arizona and ASU. We'll have a report from the Sin City.
Plus, a look at the new rules the Biden administration established to further protect LGBTQ+ student athletes.
And several Arizona cities see record-breaking temperatures, some records that go back nearly 100 years. Find out how warm it will get the rest of this week. Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News. I'm Katrina Villarreal.
And I'm Regan Gallo. Thank you for joining us.
The four corner schools were introduced to the Big 12 as the conference is hosting football media days in Las Vegas today and tomorrow.
Our very own Jack Bartlett is at Allegiant Stadium as these former Pac-12 schools embark on a new chapter.
Yeah, there's a lot of excitement today for the new 16-school conference. No one as energized as Big 12 Commissioner Brett Yormark, though. From doubling down on continuing the men's and women's conference tournaments in Kansas City to hosting football media days here in Las Vegas, Yormark is eager to continue the growth of the Big 12. He mentioned that the Big 12 is the second most followed conference across all social media platforms while introducing a conference alumni council and new governance group for student athletes. He says it is the deepest football conference in the nation and boasts that the best basketball conference just got better with its new additions.
So as you can tell, 2024-25 will be a very exciting year for the Big 12. On the football front, we will be the deepest conference in America.
Although Arizona State was picked to finish last in the media preseason poll, the Sun Devils are happy to be joining a new league. Head coach Kenny Dillingham said he's ready for new opportunities to establish a culture that pushes his players to be the best version of themselves every day.
For us is continuing to establish a culture of toughness. I think that's the number one thing that
Dillingham said that the Sun Devils brought in a lot of newcomers to help establish this culture and feels much more comfortable with the depth of the offensive line headed into the season. The Big 12 will kick off in late August with ASU's first game on August 31st against Wyoming at Mountain America Stadium. Here in Las Vegas, Jack Bartlett, Cronkite News.
Back in Arizona, a program that has served families and individual volleyball players for over 2 decades could be coming to a close in the West Valley.
That's right. Arizona Region Junior Beach Volleyball has been a unique opportunity for players. Cronkite News reporter Lucas Metzner has more on the story.
Over 20 years in the West Valley, gathering to play at Victory Lanes in the scorching Arizona summer months has been a tradition for many in the Arizona Region Junior Beach Volleyball League. The league has served young, up-and-coming players in a unique way, offering a chance to just play with no coaches and a trial-by-error approach to help expand a young player's game.
But there's something to be said for kids learning on their own, at their own pace, and that's what this program has always been about. We've never had coaches here. We don't, again, like I said, allow parents on the sand. So those kids that went to the Olympics and, were ABP champions and stuff, they learned this sport on their own when they were younger.
Whether or not the players within Arizona Region Junior Beach Volleyball go as far as the Olympics or don't play again after high school, this league has created lasting memories for many families, especially in mid-June, when fathers teamed up with their daughters for a special tournament.
Just being able to play with my dad, like you said, we can't really play with each other a lot, and being able to watch him actually put in and try hard without swinging.
This unique opportunity isn't lost on Preston Gilbert, who is enjoying the special week.
I think, again, it's the only time we get to play together. It's hard to get people to play with us, so when we get a chance to play and other like-minded families, it's a lot of fun.
The league has served so many players and families in the West Valley throughout the years for a low price point, but while it has been important to many, changing demographics and economics may see it come to a close.
The demographic of beach and club volleyball has kind of drifted east in our city in the last 15 to 20 years, so more players are playing out there. There's more facilities, so sadly, we're getting less and less people out here.
Director Eric Hodgson says the league has served its purpose and takes pride in its dedication to the kids. In Glendale, Lucas Metzner, Cronkite News.
Notable players such as Betsy Flint, Sarah Sponsel, Haley Harward, and various others spent some of their youth playing Arizona Region Junior Beach Volleyball, and Eric Hodgson believes they're better off for it.
The Arizona Diamondbacks fell short in their first game in the series against the Atlanta Braves, losing by a score of 5-4 in 11 innings. While the outcome is not what Diamondback fans wanted, they did see pitching prospect Gilbert Diaz have an excellent debut. From selling candy and cleaning windshields to making his major league debut, Diaz made the most of his opportunity against the Braves. After giving up a solo home run to Braves' Austin Riley in the first inning, Diaz retired 13 of the next 15 batters, including 9 in a row. Through 5 innings, he threw 60 pitches using both the fastball and his slider. The Diamondbacks will finish their 4-game series against the Braves on Thursday before hosting the Toronto Blue Jays this weekend.
Racing down the street at high speeds is intense, and adding rain to the mix makes it dangerous due to visibility issues. But a Tucson native was able to come out victorious.
Alex Bowman has won at Chicago.
Hell yeah, buddy! That's what I'm talking about. Hell of a job, brother.
NASCAR driver Alex Bowman won his first race since March 2022 after his win of the Grant Park 165 at the Chicago Street Course this past weekend, snapping his 80-race winless streak. Bowman led for 8 laps and was able to hold off runner-up Tyler Reddick. Bowman thought all hope was lost after suffering a concussion in 2022 and a back injury in a sprint car accident in 2023. Bowman was the only Hendrick Motorsports driver not to secure a win in 2024. With his victory of Grant Park 165, Bowman secured his position in the NASCAR playoffs.
Title IX has ensured equality for female student athletes since the 70s. Now the Biden administration is issuing new rules that add protections for LGBTQ+ students, changing the wording of who gets protected from sex to gender identity. In 2022, Arizona banned transgender female athletes from sports, but a court later blocked the ban. Aoife Kane reports on how the revised Title IX is facing resistance in both Washington and Arizona.
The Biden administration says that education should be free from discrimination based on gender identity, but critics argue that biological women competing against transgender women is unfair. 22 states have filed in federal court against these new rules, adding another level of uncertainty when the schools return in the fall.
In December, the issue came before the House Oversight Committee, with Arizona Republican Paul Gosar weighing in.
Is the genetic composition of a transgender versus a woman the same? No.
Fatima Goss-Graves and Madeline Edelman both testified against legislation banning trans athletes from women's sports. They make the argument that inclusionary laws actually boost participation for women's sports across the board, but these new rules don't address athletics.
So the fact that states like Arizona in 2022 went ahead and passed a categorical ban that basically made it harder for trans students to play and said that it is okay to discriminate, that is confusing to schools. Schools don't know what that means. Does it mean that you have to follow the guidance of your state?
Title IX very clearly and unambiguously says that young people should have access to education free from discrimination on the basis of sex.
On a bus tour across the country, the advocacy group Our Bodies, Our Sports stopped in Washington, D.C. to rally against transgender athletes competing in women's sports. The group includes 18-time Grand Slam winning tennis player Martina Navratilova.
My people aren't turning on me, they're turning on us women who speak up for women's sex-based rights.
Former University of Arizona swimmer Marcy Smith is part of the group advocating against the changes to Title IX.
Regardless of age or level, there is no way to include men or boys into women's sports and have it be fair for the female athletes.
The rules regarding athletics are yet to be released, and the situation at the moment remains in flux. In Washington, Aoife Kane, Cronkite News.
The Arizona Attorney General's office declined to comment. The state's education department says it's assessing the potential impact of the changes. The new rule comes into effect on August 1st.
Arizona is notorious for its hot summers.
And not too many people are a fan of the extreme heat, except perhaps meteorologists.
I get excited at any rainstorm, dust storm, hailstorm. I used to call that Arizona snow growing up.
Up next, we'll meet the team of meteorologists excited about the state's extreme weather.
Plus, how hot will it get this weekend? Your full forecast coming up after the break.
Three, two, one.
Coming up on the cut.
Coming up on the cut. Coming up on the cut.
How students can build their broadcast journalism portfolio with opportunities to learn more about on-air reporting and studio production.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram at @thecut_network and on X at @CutASU.
Innovation at the Walter Cronkite School is pushing the boundaries of traditional journalism.
Storytelling has evolved over the years. This is part of that evolution.
Students in the Innovation and Entrepreneurship Lab are using emerging technology to create scenes in augmented and virtual reality, coding playable games, and bringing the audience into the story.
They're only limited by their imagination and their willingness to learn.
Find out more at cronkite.asu.edu.
From monsoon storms to haboobs and record heat, Arizona receives some interesting weather which keeps meteorologists busy.
Salt River Project, also known as SRP, has a team of meteorologists to best prepare the state for ever-changing weather. But what do SRP meteorologists do in their day-to-day? It's their work that impacts the safety of millions across the state.
The balloon launched during the monsoon is performed daily at 4 a.m. and 4 p.m. to capture critical data.
Temperature, relative humidity, wind speed, wind direction, pressure.
This tells SRP how much staff they need every day in the case of emergency weather.
They're ready to go basically if there are outages, and then we can hopefully mitigate those impacts of longevity of those when they do happen.
SRP's 3 meteorologists, 1 intern, and 4 Arizona State students help launch these weather balloons.
So growing up, I'd get excited at any rainstorm, dust storm, hailstorm. I used to call that Arizona snow growing up.
Hodgins and her team also work on fine-tuning weather and heat forecasts, predicting power generation, especially as households in Arizona are blasting air conditioning, and educating the public on safety measures as storms can speed up, reduce visibility, and cause flash flooding. But summer weather is not the only focus.
80% of our water typically does come from that winter precipitation.
Wow. Hodgins explains analyzing winter precipitation is another major task for Arizona reservoirs.
Precipitation in the watershed, particularly that snowpack, and seeing how deep and how packed that is, because we relay that information to the hydrologists.
Hodgins told us the life of a meteorologist changes. In California, she worked on air quality and how it affects the lives of people, as well as farming and agriculture.
But I just want the biggest takeaway to be that there is so much out there that you can really get involved in with meteorology.
You might not know that the National Weather Service has their own office within the SRP building located in Tempe. This is so the National Weather Service can work in collaboration with SRP as data is collected.
And we're just about a month into summer, but already we're breaking records.
That's right, several cities here in Arizona saw record temperatures.
Phoenix, Yuma, and El Centro all broke records on Monday. 118 was the high here in Phoenix, breaking the old record set nearly 40 years ago. Yuma saw 117 degrees and El Centro recorded 120 degrees, breaking the old record set in 1942. Monday was a record breaker, so Regan, what can we expect for the rest of the week?
Well, that's why we have Taylor Mazok as she joins us now from the Cronkite Weather Center with today's forecast.
Alrighty, y'all, good evening and welcome to the Cronkite Weather Center. As we look at temperatures for this evening, we're coming off the hottest first 8 days of July on record here in Phoenix, in the Valley. So as we head into this evening, temperatures are going to get a little bit lower, but not very much, as we're at 105 here at 10 p.m. Then looking at tomorrow, our lows for the morning, 91 here in Phoenix, and then as we head just a little bit north, 67 in Payson, then as we head east, 52 here in Window Rock. Then looking at our highs for tomorrow, like I said, hot temperatures this week, first week of July, 117 here in Phoenix, and then as we head north, 106 in Page, which is surprising, and then 92 over here in Window Rock. Then looking at our future cast, a lot of heavy rains up here heading towards the northeast, and then obviously Houston still experiencing a lot of power outages as they're coming off of Hurricane Beryl. And then looking at the activity for the rest of this week, we're looking at a lot of activity here in Phoenix, some chances of rains. So what does all of this mean? Looking at our temperatures in the 8-day forecast, 115 here on Friday, and then like I said, some chances of rain here at 10% on Friday. And then looking at the rest of this week, going into the weekend and next week, like I said, chances of rain, 20% there on Sunday, and temperatures will dip a little bit to about 108 going into next week, which is very exciting for us here in Phoenix. All right, from the Cronkite Weather Center, I'm Taylor Mazok.
Millions of people in Texas were still without power Tuesday after Hurricane Beryl ripped through the area.
That's right, and the heat index in southern Texas is expected to hit the triple digits. In addition to the heat, folks are dealing with lots and lots of water. On Tuesday, officials pleaded with the public to stay off the roads, which are dangerous because of all the flooding. The local power utility companies are saying restoring power could take days and even weeks in some specific locations.
And it was so hot in New York City on Monday, a movable bridge actually got stuck. That's because the steel on the bridge expanded due to the high temperatures. Officials spent much of the afternoon trying to cool the bridge down. They were eventually able to get it back open. Monday was the hottest day of the year so far in the Big Apple. Coming up next, a look at news headlines from across Arizona,
including a new push to change what's available to rescue crews in an ambulance. Find out why it's so difficult to make sure a supply of life-saving blood is available inside these vehicles.
Did you know newsrooms today are looking for bilingual journalists?
I moved a little bit.
Cronkite Noticias prepares you to cover diverse communities. In Cronkite Noticias, you will obtain an unforgettable experience.
Nopales como este van a tumbar.
Cronkite Noticias.
And develop your skills with the latest technology.
Cronkite News provides students at ASU's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism with the opportunity to gain real-world experience in the newsroom. At Cronkite News, our students produce professional content for audiences by taking on all roles, whether they be reporting, anchoring, producing, or studio production. Each department gives students first-hand professional newsroom experience. For more information, visit cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
ASU's one and only student-run radio station, Blaze Radio, provides students with opportunities to cover a variety of topics. From music,
this is Sun City Garage,
to sports coverage.
Against the Brewers in his last outing, he went
to news.
The bill also gives parents the ability to see.
And entertainment updates. Blaze Radio offers a fun environment to gain valuable broadcast experience. To find out more, visit blazeradioonline.com.
Mazok, back with you for a look at news from across Arizona. Scorching temperatures in the summer also mean scorching sidewalks, which could cause serious burns. NASA just released a map illustrating the risk of thermal burn across the valley. The areas in red show temperatures on asphalt and sidewalks, reaching between 130 to 140 degrees. The areas in purple, which you see most in the West Valley, means temperatures as high as 160 degrees. At those temperatures, your skin could burn in just seconds. And it's important to stay hydrated in this heat. That's why the city of Tempe has launched a water bottle drive. These bottles will be distributed at the city's cooling centers, as well as the city's homeless outreach team. If you'd like to donate, there are 4 drop locations through the end of the month. You can find these locations and hours at the City of Tempe's website. Blood transfusions are necessary for trauma patients, and timing is crucial. I learned more about a life-saving method used around the country, but it's not very common here in Arizona.
1 O positive, August 5th.
Emergency units in Texas, Pennsylvania, and Alabama carry blood in some of their ground transportation ambulances, and they have already seen changes in patient survival numbers.
There's a whole bunch of data that's been gathered over the last 10 years since programs have started carrying blood around the country, and everything that's been studied and done has shown that the sooner patients get transfused, the better their outcomes.
However, in Arizona, carrying blood in ambulances is not a requirement, at least not on the ground. Medevacs around the state, like Banner Air, began carrying blood last year and can administer transfusions at the scene.
We've done a lot of transfusions now. I think we're up to mid-70s now for the number that we've done. And we've had some really good success stories. We've had some patients that essentially would not have made it off the scene if our crews didn't have blood to resuscitate them prior to taking off.
In order to carry this blood, they need a special approved cooler so that the blood can be kept at a certain temperature.
So basically every 2 days we take a blood cooler, which is a specific rated cooler designed to carry blood, over to blood bank. We'll get our 2 units of blood, we'll get it sealed up, and then our crew will carry that cooler with them for 2 days.
And special equipment like coolers are one reason why ambulance programs in Arizona are hesitant to carry blood on board. There are also other costs, training, and a complicated process in order to carry blood.
There's a lot of FDA regulations involved with sourcing blood products, the type of products we want to carry, how we store our products, how we monitor temperatures and dates.
According to the Journal of EMS, studies performed on the battlefield showed that soldiers are 20 times more likely to survive in trauma cases if they receive blood within 34 minutes.
The importance of timing is exceptional. So it's all about getting blood to them in a very rapid fashion. So those are the patients that we're really focused on as it relates to emergent use of blood transfusion.
Patient survival is the ultimate goal, and quick access to blood, whether at the hospital or at the scene, could be the difference between life and death. All of this depends on the blood supply, which is at a low, especially during the summer. That's it for your news headlines from across Arizona. I'm Taylor Mazok. Now back to Katrina and Regan at the desk.
Well, it looks like I missed out on the pink memo today.
I know, pink pinkies stink, I guess. Me and Taylor are matching.
But 2 new residents of the San Diego Zoo make their official debut.
The residents just arrived from China, but they're already settling in quite nicely. Meet the zoo's newest giant pandas when we return after this quick break.
Coming up on the cut.
Coming up on the cut. Coming up on the cut.
How students can build their broadcast journalism portfolio with opportunities to learn more about on-air reporting and studio production.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram at @thecut_network and on X at @ASU.
Innovation at the Walter Cronkite School is pushing the boundaries of traditional journalism.
Storytelling has evolved over the years. This is part of that evolution.
Students in the Innovation and Entrepreneurship Lab are using emerging technology to create scenes in augmented and virtual reality, coding playable games, and bringing the audience into the story.
They're only limited by their imagination and their willingness to learn.
Find out more at cronkite.asu.edu.
Look at the newest additions to the San Diego Zoo.
That's right, we're talking about two adorable giant pandas. These pandas arrived at the zoo last month and they are 4 and 5 years old. And zoo officials say they enjoy things most human kids would at their age. They love eating their favorite foods and climbing trees. The pandas are on loan from China and were sent to the U.S. as a sign of friendship.
That's it for tonight's edition of Cronkite News. I'm Katrina Villarreal.
And I'm Regan Gallo. Thank you so much for joining us.
And to see top Arizona stories anytime, log on to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.